We're going to talk to Yana, who is a specialist in that. Yana, did you do the workout with us right now, or were you just taking it easy over there?
No, I'm so sorry. I was in a webinar, and I'm just reading all these comments about people doing Eric's workout, and I can't believe I missed it. But maybe you can show me some Zumba moves so we can get cracking.
Hey, we got your fiance is your number one fan right here.
I happen to know him as well.
Lazar is actually going to come on. That's an Amazon family, by the way. They have different.
It is. We're all one big happy family.
Cool. Now, Yana, can you just, for those who didn't hear your podcast episode end so that I can catch my breath, can you please give us like a 1-minute introduction to what you do and some of your background with Amazon?
Sure, absolutely. So I run an Amazon dedicated translation agency, which is called YLT Translations, stands for Your Listing Translation. And we are offering translations for all marketplaces, European marketplaces, the newest Dutch marketplace. A lot of people have questions about that marketplace, Japan, Mexico. And we basically love helping people to expand internationally, offer advice, and basically everything we could do to help you grow your business. My background
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, my background, so I am not a seller, but I have a really big knowledge about e-commerces. I was a COO in one of the biggest commerces in Northern Europe. I had a team of basically like 400 employees, and it was insane. And that's where I got familiar with Amazon. It was like 7 years ago. We were having 100,000 products on Amazon. We're having a whole team, that's how I heard about like what is a buy box and stuff like that. And I got like super interested in Amazon and like was leading the whole team. I got like into like everything, like all the updates. Things were like, changing very, very fast, like a couple of years ago. And then I thought, like, I think that a lot of people are not actually, getting so much sales on international marketplaces because they were not, using translators who knew how to do keyword research, who did know how to do things properly, which is also what my previous company also had a lot of trouble. They were doing Google Translate and everything. And then ever since we shifted and like changed our strategy and doing the keyword research like separately for all marketplaces, those pieces kind of, they started like being pulled together in one big puzzle together with PPC, definitely. So this is how I got the idea of actually trying to create something which a lot of sellers benefit from. And we definitely know that these strategies work. So even though I'm not a seller yet, I get a lot of feedback from our sellers. We do like around 1,000 listings every month, sometimes more, sometimes less. But we really get some feedback. 1,000. It's a lot. We're very busy. There's a team of 43 native translators, and we do a lot of different stuff. And so like through these like sellers' feedbacks and like their numbers and case studies that we have, we could totally tell what has been working for international marketplaces, what's not. You have to adjust it for every marketplace. Not everything is the same. I know you had some experts like talking about German marketplace and other marketplaces, and I'm sure all can agree on one, and that is that every marketplace is an organism for itself. So you can have different keywords, and you have to always have different approach. I think that's most important thing is localization. Yeah.
So can you talk a little bit about that, like why it's important? Why is what I said at the beginning true, that you can't just use a Google Translate, or even taking it a step further, you can't just go and get any random linguist to just do a direct translation of your listing? Why is that?
Yeah, well, that's because like if you take like a random listing and you have a lot of translator, and you have like a really good translators on Fiverr, you maybe have some like a really good translator who's your friend, or maybe your aunt in Spain is like freaking amazing when writing and copywriting. But what do these people know about Amazon and how the algorithm works? Like, do they know about like a title lengths in different categories? I don't think so. Like even if you have like a really good product and you have like this amazing I don't know, language flow and everything. If you don't have the high traffic keywords, your product is not gonna pop up like to the buyer, like typing in those keywords. Of course, your product is going to sell if it's a good product and if people like it. But just imagine how much more you could do and how many more sales you can generate only if you had like really high traffic keywords integrated in your listing. So my advice is to always do optimization. People just, kind of like, like the phrase used for PPC campaigns, like set it and forget it. Well, this is also what you can apply for your listing. Like you should optimize your listing, let's say every like 6 or 7 months, but people just don't do that. They never do that. And like when you ask them like why, they're just like, oh, they're like, I don't know, other things to do. And I just think that during this time, people have been optimizing more and focusing on some things they never had time to do before. I just think that, our listing optimization is something which is very important to keep you updated. Maybe update the listing with some seasonal keywords, or maybe, your buyer left you a really bad review, and then you can use something that he said from that review to integrate in the listing and kind of, have like dress it like differently than it was before. So like there's so many different things you could do, and just, pay attention to how your listings are doing and try to twitch it like every now and then, definitely.
What are some different things you can tell us about different marketplaces, like rules of thumb? Like in Germany, your translation techniques are different than Spain because of this and this. For Japan, if you do any, Japan, you do this differently. How does it differ from country to country for what you do?
Yeah, well, what I think is like it's all about like localization, right? So like you have to know who your audience is and what they like. And I like the story about like Walmart failing on the Japanese market. So what actually happened is that Walmart just like, entered the marketplace over there. They opened like a bunch of stores, and the Japanese people, they didn't like it because they don't find it very, they don't like when you just offer them discounts as they are, like bunch of discounts. They want to do like this kind of treasure hunting and finding discounts themselves. And they really like locally sourced products. And so they didn't find any of it in Walmart, even though like Walmart is an amazing brand. A lot of the other countries would love to have Walmart over, like, but Japanese just kind of hate it. But Costco, on the other hand, being also very like a typical, everything is bigger in the States, so sort of a store with all of the cartons, boxes, and everything. Like that was very interesting for the Japanese market because that offered some sort of like a customer shopping experience, and this is what Japanese people are looking for. They want experience. They want something which is kind of special, something like, I'm going to go to Costco. This is going to be like this cool ritual or experience that I'm going to have. And I just think it's very, very important for every market to know your audience. Like what you said, for the German market, have to be like very straightforward, very clear, like how does my product solve this problem, and some similar, stuff like that. Also, the German marketplace, I don't know if you guys mentioned that earlier today, but it is the marketplace that gives out the most refunds ever. So you really have to pay attention to what you write in your listings and how you kind of make them sound to the audience, because if they don't like it, they're just going to return it. It will have to refund them. When it comes to like France, it's very similar to the German marketplace, but they're not that super strict when it comes to like certain things. For the Dutch marketplace, which is the newest marketplace, it's very interesting that like the Netherlands has always been a little bit progressive when it comes to also like gender identity, drugs, like a lot of different things like in Europe are allowed there. And for instance, they really don't like when you, for instance, let's say you're in a toys category and you're selling a teddy bear. People would not approve that much of like writing that this is a teddy bear for boys and teddy bear for girls. They would just be like children toy or something which is more neutral. So for instance, this is something that you would have to adjust for that marketplace. Even though, of course, you can find a lot of keywords, but this is something that people generally are very sensitive about, for instance, over there. Or also like in Germany, like an example, it's like this is something for mom or for dad. They would prefer you say parents, not like, like a female and male parent and stuff like that. In Italy and Spain as well, they really also don't sorry, don't like a sales pitch like in their bullets, like they would use on the US market. They don't like to be pushed into buying products. Like, come on, buy it, like buy now, the super amazing, adorable, cute product. Like they don't like that sort of approach. A lot of people would think like, well, those Italians, they, their kiss their grandmothers in their mouth. They love everyone. Maybe they like this way of talking, but basically this is not the style. It's like not, it's not according to like what we found out and what I've like discussed with a lot of sellers. People really want to find out the most important things in their bullets, to find out about like the features, and then you can go on about the story telling, branding, and everything in A plus content if you have one. If you don't have one, I always suggest people get those templates, get those pictures. I think A plus content for your brand on the international marketplaces is very important. Also because you know that you cannot translate text on main images unless you change the ASIN number. And this is super complicated. You don't want to go there. You lose all the reviews and everything. So you use A plus content to have infographics, to have pictures, and to have everything written in the native language of the target marketplace. I think that is very important. And what Amazon like made very simple, not simple, but I would say more kind of seller friendly, is that they kind of gathered all of the reviews and like you've had on all international marketplaces in one. So now when you launch a new product, let's say on German marketplace or anywhere else, if you had like reviews on some other marketplace, they're going to show up immediately. So it's not going to take forever to get that first golden review so you can actually, start selling and boosting your sales. So Amazon has actually helped us once, to actually, launch products and go internationally, which I think that Amazon encourages a lot, expansion and internationalization. So I really hope that in future, they're also going to think about, okay, we're going to allow main images to be, like on different languages.
Just out of curiosity, from your clients who, I mean, you obviously do listings in many different languages. Can you rank them as far as the most requests you get from least, or from most, to least? I would imagine is Germany number one.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, depends like where the clients are from. Like usually our most of our clients are either US or UK based. So the US, they of course would go to the UK because of the culture and language barrier and everything. And then absolutely after that, when you have a seller from the UK, you would definitely go to the German marketplace because it is the biggest marketplace out there. And basically, I like to call it a 5-star marketplace because basically all other countries that don't have their own Amazon marketplace, they get redirected to buy from the German marketplace. You actually get access to many more buyers than you would intentionally think. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Guys, start giving us your questions. We're going to open those up in a couple minutes. Give us your questions, anything about foreign marketplaces or translation. I just got a couple more here before we get into the user questions here. But what's a real life example maybe you could give us, Yana, of somebody who they did it on their own? They had a great US listing and they launched in, Spain, Italy, Germany, whatever, and they didn't feel like they were getting all that they could out of it. So then they hired you, and then you changed up their listing to a more, a better, more optimized translation, and sales increased because of that. Is there any, example? You don't have to give the product or the name of the person at all, but like, are there any examples you can tell us about?
Yeah, well, basically, like we have a lot. I mean, we have our case studies. We're gonna put them. They're not on our website yet, but I will like gathering them from the sellers that we've been working with, and they've seen a lot of a big increase because of the whole keyword strategy that we're using. And I can actually see one of my clients here. This is Owen. And we've been doing a lot of translation work with them, and I think they had like increase in like 150% or something like that. I don't remember that. I asked like a case study from him, and they send us like these amazing numbers that have kind of escalated amazingly throughout like 6 or 7 months. I mean, you actually have to give it some time to pass in order to see that. But I think that I think the key for all of this is just using keywords and fitting them in so that it sounds absolutely naturally in the listing. I think that's a very useful thing and something that a lot of people don't think about. But you would definitely have to prioritize the keywords, and this is exactly what we do. And I also have a lot of other sellers who are, for instance, like they made it very big in the US, like 7-figure sellers, and they kind of hit the wall, and they're like, well, there's probably, I don't think I could do anything more. They decided to launch products on international marketplaces, and it's basically they could increase their revenue as much as they were earning on the US marketplace. They were earning as much as on the European marketplace. And as I said, because I think we have so much experience and so many listings are done every month, I think that we have implemented a strategy that really, really works with the keywords and the native listing combination. If anybody's interested in any of the case studies, it's all numbers. I really cannot remember on all of the numbers and everything, but it really is something that we have also returning clients, and it's something that really helps people. Of course, I mean, it depends on the product. Sometimes maybe you were not going to be successful even if you implement everything, just because your product is maybe not a good fit for that marketplace. But if it is, I would definitely say that you can do wonders on international marketplaces. And I think, for instance, Germany is absolutely great if you're selling any sort of things for your toddlers or teenagers, like any sort of like DIY kits and stuff like that. I think that's something that's definitely going to do well. And for instance, I have an example, like we had one, because we do like a list analysis all the time. If you have something that you already done and you really want to see why is it underperforming, how can you make it better? We had like one client, he did everything perfect, everything, like his listings were optimized. We literally didn't have anything to add, but his product was not selling on the German market. It was the only one, basically the only product that, like, on all other marketplaces it was doing very good, but just the German market was an actual flaw. And he was selling t-shirts saying like had like different like signs like Mr. and Mrs. and stuff like that. I mean, the clothing apparel is quite difficult for Amazon. It's a quite category that a lot of people struggle with. But a lot of, like, for instance, a lot of my translators, my whole translation team, they just said like, that's something I would buy. Like, I just went to, like, kind of local people from the marketplace, and I'm like, why do you think that this doesn't work? Because listing, keywords, everything is there, PPC, like images, basically everything is good. And they're just like, this is not a good product. Like, this is just like, nobody would buy this on the German on the German marketplace. So sometimes it's more pieces of the puzzle that have to be put together than just kind of one thing that's going to skyrocket your sales. But I would always recommend, when you start selling internationally, just try to do things from the start the way you should. You don't want to ruin your honeymoon period, and you really want to use the good keywords at the beginning so you can start, right, also with your PPC campaigns. You can use all these keywords you're using in your listings as the search terms you can put in your PPC campaigns, definitely.
All right, so now we're going to get into the user questions. The first one here is from Ankita. Says, can the listing creation be done using scribbles? We give the listing in English and company translate them, and they help us create one with the knowledge they have of that particular market. Actually, that's kind of what you do already. You don't a lot of your team use Helium 10 in their process? And it's not like you're just translating the words and giving it back to the customer, and then they have to figure out where it goes. You're putting everything where it belongs.
No, definitely not. Like, we use Helium 10. This is our #1 go-to tool when it comes to Amazon and keyword research. It has a lot of details. We use all of this data to come up with this awesome keyword database. We use some Excel formulas so we can find out like what listing from your competitors has the most like ranked keywords, and then we use a couple of your competitors, and then we kind of make our own list with the keywords. Also, like scribbles, of course, it's an amazing way how to make the title or how to make like everything which is important put together. So we don't just kind of randomly translate the text or just randomly do something and do like a one-on-one translation. Everything is adjusted, localized, and it's with definitely keywords that we get from Helium 10. And it's all, this is the difference between Amazon translators and regular translators. Amazon translations is a whole different niche. Like in the beginning, we were doing like e-commerce, like Wild Tea was like doing e-commerce. And then I'm like, maybe we should like niche down. I really loved like Amazon and how things were working there. And I'm like, let's just offer this. But like, you need to train people for this. Like all of our translators, they have like this in-house training, and nobody can do this without the training, because nobody, or I mean, somebody could have like done this before, but a lot of people have no idea how this is supposed to be done. And this is something to bear in mind, that the translator who's doing like medical translations or law translations, they're probably not a good fit for marketing translations or copyright, because they don't know the terms. You know, they don't know what's a drop shipper. They don't know what's a marketplace. We've like, I went through a certain listing, and like they would, in French, they would translate the marketplace as marché, which is like a marketplace, like where you go and buy fruit, right? But you would not use that word for a marketplace in the French language. So pay attention when choosing who you're going to work with.
All right. So now for the last 10 minutes, we're going to try and do it 30 seconds per answer. So we can get everybody's here, because we got a lot more coming. This is from We says, I understand. That's my Helium 10 Elite member. I think we was there when you spoke once. I understand the main image needs to be the same if you use the same ASIN, but can you have different images on each marketplace? Good question. Do you know the answer to this? So I think he's talking about like if you're in US,
right?
And
yeah,
and then the main image has to be the same. But if the seed ASIN is the US one and you're now in Amazon.de, can you change the secondary images?
I don't think so, honestly. I just think that the images have to be the same. Like I haven't seen a single seller having different images. Like you can have it like somebody says here in the gallery. Yeah, like you have to like. I haven't seen like different images on different marketplaces for single product or each seller. I don't think you can do that.
Okay.
I think if you could do this, I think you could also then upload an image which has the German text on the image. But since you cannot change images or anything, I don't think this is possible. Maybe I'm wrong, but I haven't seen anyone have different images across different marketplaces.
Okay, let me. Oh, here's one. Oscar says, how do you translate trademarked words?
Well, I mean, what do you think of trademark? Do you think like Philips or Sony or Apple? Like, well, I mean, if you think that, like, you should not use those. So definitely you should not use the trademark words and keywords if that's like what you're asking. But trademarked words, I mean, if you are authorized seller for, let's say, like Disney, like bags, then like you would have to have like some certain licenses for like each marketplaces. So this is something that you would have to tell us, or we would definitely ask you. So this is something that really doesn't depend on us. It depends on the licenses that these clients have. We have some licensed clients where we are supposed to use like trademark words. Whereas, for instance, like if you have like, I don't know, as I mentioned, like Disney's like Frozen, for instance, like you would have to see that country, what sort of Frozen, do they use the Frozen, or do they have like some different translation for that whole movie and the whole merchandise? So you'll have to double check with that. Definitely, everything we do is double checked and done according to TOS and according to all the licenses that you have.
All right. I see that in Serbia, 30 seconds means something different than over here, but that's right. Believe me, you're not the first one. I've had to slap people.
I totally forgot about the 30 seconds rule. I'm gonna focus from now on. Okay, go.
No worries. All right. Hold on. I had another good question here, and now I lost it. Where did it go? Where did it go? This is so crazy to have to like manage all these comments here. Where is that one about Mexico? Where is it? There was one about Helium 10. Here it is.
Oh, got it.
There it is. Amazon automatically translates your listings when you sell in Mexico. Have you compared your translations to their? I mean, not just in Mexico. I'm sure they do this in other markets.
Yeah, they do. Like for like their Launchpad program has been so bad. It's basically like an automated translation. And like when people send like their translations, be like, hey, could you like check this? And like basically every Amazon automatically translated listing is something that Google Translate would do, or any other automated translation. So basically this is not good, because Google Translate doesn't know what context is. It can maybe translate some parts good, but it's probably not gonna tell you the stories about your brand the way you want to. And also, there are no keywords. So
excellent. That's much more like 30 seconds. Excellent. So then, Nikolai is talking about the images. So in the case where, like, let's say they have a lot of infographics, that have written text, are you saying that maybe it might be better than to use different ASINs and not use the same ASIN as your home market so that you can put different translations there on the image?
Well, I mean, when talking about main images, like, this is not possible. I don't know if this is a question for the A+.
The infographics, the secondary images.
Oh, the infographics. Oh, right. Yeah, the secondary
Yeah,
ones.
you have to have the separate.
Right.
One ASIN, no matter the marketplace, uses the same image. So then would you say, hey, use a different ASIN so that you can make different images?
Well, I don't know. This is honestly a question which I think, like, you would have to A/B test this. Like, I don't have an answer to this, but like, maybe it would work well with the different ASINs. But I don't know. I don't like to recommend that, like, people should make like more ASINs for like the same product. I would stay with the same one and just like do different. You can like Photoshop text on like different images and use templates for your A+ content. I think making separate ASINs would make things much more complicated. You would have 5 times more work, and I would not recommend making more ASINs, definitely.
Okay, excellent. All right. There's a lot of people who are asking about how they can contact you, and so, like, for example, Alan was asking. So, say your website again, so that people can get a quote on doing a listing.
Right. So website is YLT. So Your Listing Translations, YLT-translations.com.
Excellent. What is some other, I remember the 30-second tip you gave on the podcast, and I already forgot what it was just because I did that workout before and I can't even know what I'm doing.
I remember.
What was that tip that you gave? I just remember I was like, whoa, that's really cool.
Okay. It was about German and French keywords.
Yes. Good. Can you give it to us?
Yes. So German keywords. Helium 10 has the word count as number 2. It's like a default number when searching for keywords. In German, your product might be one word product because it's a compound word, which consists of a couple of words. You have to change the word count on Helium 10 as 1 in order to get like a really long compound word, which is probably going to be higher ranked than whatever you could get as word count number 2. A lot of people don't do that. And if you're not going to do the word count as 1, this big compound word, which could be completely like a golden keyword, is never going to show up. So change the number from 2 to 1 when doing German keyword research.
Love it. All right. Any last questions? There's a lot of people asking about approximately what the price is to translate a listing. Does it vary from marketplace to marketplace, or is it pretty much?
Basically what can vary is if you have more than 4 ASINs, then the price drops definitely. Or if you decide to be a long-term client or a returning client, we can always discuss prices. And I'm always down to giving a discount to someone who's going to refer us or use our services, especially like nowadays. I would really like to help people getting optimized and stuff. So reach out, send me an email, and I'm sure we can figure something out.
Awesome. Thank you, Yana, very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Bradley.
If you have some more time, if you can, just once you hop off of here, go to either Facebook or YouTube, and some people might have some more questions that we didn't have time to get over. So thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Take care, Bradley. Bye-bye.